So, Creationist Cat, if you didn't know,
Yeah.
co-wrote a script for a movie they're making.
Oh, yeah.
But the important thing about this is, as it pertains to us, Haley Joel Osment is in the movie.
He is.
Yeah, if you don't remember that was the I See Dead People kid from the 90s.
And also now he's on a weird, awkward, sex educational spoof video movie on Netflix.
Yeah. Anyway, importantly, because this is about us, we are now connected to Haley Joel Osment, who knew Bruce Willis, who was in Die Hard, and we know someone who knows him. Ergo, we were basically in Die Hard.
That adds up.
Yeah, I like math. Math is helpful sometimes. Thanks, Cat.
La 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 la. Here we go. It's the Bible reloaded, logic explosion, like Jesus and Moses, but it's Hugo and Jake. The Bible is jaded, and most of it taken, so get educated with Hugo and Jake. Pull up a pew and stop what you're doing. It's Bible reloaded time. They call it debated, the theorists will hate it, like talking to taken, but it's Hugo and Jake. So I'm with the show then, it's not candy coated, it's the Bible reloaded with Hugo and Jake.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this, wait for it, is the Bible Reloaded.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
And today we're going to be finishing off First Kings, which is good, and then we'll get on to Second Kings, which is literally the same shit. I don't know why they separated them.
Because they ran out of, it was like a journal, like they kept their angry poetry in, and then that was the end of it, and they're like, we have to do more.
So your hypothesis is that the person who organized the Bible is an emo teen?
Yeah, it was like a Tumblr page, but it
Oh,
ran out.
okay.
It was before Tumblr was a place to keep your thoughts.
Sure, I could see that. There's probably some kin types somewhere in the Bible. Anyway,
Biblekin.
so today we're going to be looking at what happens to the king of Israel, because in the last episode he spared another person's life, and God isn't having any of that. So, today we begin in 1 Kings chapter 22. Micaiah prophesies against Ahab. For 3 years there was no war between Aram and Israel, but in the third year Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, went down to see the king of Israel. The king of Israel had said to his officials, "Don't you know that Ramoth Gilead belongs to us, and yet we are doing nothing to retake it from the king of Aram?"
This is like a Palestine-Israel thing.
I think it is. Fun fact, if you have to take something back, it isn't yours, you're conquering it.
Yeah.
So he asked Jehoshaphat, "Will you go with me to fight against Ramoth Gilead?" Jehoshaphat replied to the king of Israel, "I am as you are, my people are as your people, my horses as your horses." But Jehoshaphat also said to the king of Israel, "First, seek the counsel of the Lord." If you're gonna bring a proposal to war to someone, maybe you should be like, maybe I'll think through if we can win this or not before I go and take them the proposal, not like, let's think about if we can win this after the fact.
I think he was just spitballing, you know? It was like his version of freestyle, but for wars.
Maybe this was his
He was Meek Mill.
Maybe this was his shit idea, and he had, like, kind of a better idea, but this was the first one, so that he knew that would get turned down, so he could give the better idea, but then he grabbed onto this one, and he's like, shit.
It's a soft sell.
Yeah. So the king of Israel brought together the prophets, about 400 men.
You need 400 Isn't the idea of having prophets like one?
They're unique, they can give you a divine message.
Well, if you have 400 of them, if any of them disagree, like, it's just like having normal people.
Yeah. So he asked the 400 prophets, "Shall I go to war against Ramoth Gilead, or shall I refrain?" "Go," they answered, "for the Lord will give it into your king's hands." Do you think they all said that in unison, like really happy?
Yes.
Okay. But Jehoshaphat asked, "Is there no longer a prophet of the Lord here what we could inquire of?"
Except minus the 400 of them that you just did?
He doesn't trust all 400 of them. They all kind of are macking on his girl.
Who's his girl? T Swift?
Sure, Taylor Swift. She's gonna write a song about this. 400 prophets aren't enough for me. I've dated tons of people. I think I dated Jake Gyllenhaal. There's a song about it, or something. The king of Israel replied to Jehoshaphat, "There is still one prophet through whom we can inquire of the Lord, but I hate him because he never prophesies anything good about me, but always bad." Oh my god, Jehoshaphat, he never says anything nice about me.
Is it because you're a bitch?
He's such a bitch. Micaiah, that fucking bitch. It's like Mean Girls, but not as cleverly written. More like Mean Girls 2.
Was there a Mean Girls?
There was
2?
a Mean Girls too. It's on Netflix.
Did it star Lindsay Lohan?
Nope, none of the original people returned. Strike that. The principal from the first one returned.
He was the only guy. He was the linchpin from between 1 and 2.
Yep.
He's the bridge.
It was the same high school
using
or
to
something.
cross. Oh no.
Ugh. Mean Girls 1 though.
That's a good film.
That's a good movie.
I'm okay with that.
Stop trying to make Mean Girls 2 happen, people. It's not gonna happen. Get it? Because it's a line from Mean Girls? Never mind. He is Micaiah, son of Imlah. The king should not say such a thing, Jehoshaphat replied. For some reason, I don't know why. The king can say pretty much whatever the fuck he wants. He can cut off heads. That's a right you get as a king. The Queen of England uses it all the time, but it's behind closed doors. So the king of Israel called one of his officials and said, "Bring Micaiah, son of Imlah, at once." It must have been so stressful in the old days when you had to say blank, son of blank. You can't just remember the people you know, you have to remember all their parents' names.
And that's why Jesus invented last names.
Dressed in their royal robes, the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, were sitting on their thrones at the threshing floor by the entrance to the gate of Samaria.
So royal robes would probably be purple. That was the color of royalty. And so just imagine them all in purple garb from now on.
Like regal Barney. With all the prophets prophesying before them. So there are now 400 people just randomly rabble in their throne room. Just imagine if you had a throne room and you just filled it with schizophrenic people. It's a sanitarium with a nice chair, is basically what's going on.
All dressed in purple.
Now Zedekiah, son of Kenanah, that's a good name,
Yep.
had made iron horns, and he declared, "This is what the Lord says: with these you will gore the Arameans until they are destroyed."
See, when it said iron horns, and then he yelled, I thought it was like a horn to like make your voice project, but no, are they like bull horns he's putting on his head? And he's like, gore 'em!
Yeah.
This is a good weapon, and everyone's like, no, don't.
Warfare was really played out at this point because David had basically perfected the art of slaughtering people, so they're like, we gotta come up with more horrific ways to do it. What if we become goats?
Goats?
People goats.
People goats?
Goats of people. Canadians, fun fact, 98% of their DNA exactly the same as the common goat.
That can't be true.
Are you gonna fact check me?
I feel like I won't.
98% goats.
Goats. Those are some nice boots. Those made of moose. You got moose boots? You gonna make me some poutine? Sorry for asking. I'm really good at Canadians.
All the other prophets were prophesying the same thing. Attack Ramoth Gilead and be victorious, they said, for the Lord will give it into the king's hand. So all the prophets, unanimously, which is amazing that a group of 400 people can agree on any one thing. They've said, yeah, God or whoever has said that you're going to win, so go do it. What else do you need? We're 400 crazy people in your throne room. Why did you call us here?
Desert Jews were very agreeable after they stopped having to walk across the desert and just got to sit in the desert.
I think that's true of anyone. If you make them walk for 40 years in the desert, you'd be like, man, everything's just great here. I have a tent that I don't have to move now. The messenger who had gone to summon Micaiah said to him, "Look, the other prophets without exception are predicting success for the king. Let your word agree with theirs and speak favorably." But Micaiah said, "As surely as the Lord lives, I can tell him only what the Lord tells me."
Micaiah ain't no sellout.
No, Micaiah ain't gonna dime on no bitch.
Micaiah keeping it real.
Is this racist?
Keeping it real?
Yeah.
No, I think it's more embarrassing than anything.
Oh, well, that's fine. That's the premise of the show. When he arrived, the king asked him, "Micaiah, shall we go to war with Ramoth Gilead or not?" "Attack and be victorious," he said, "for the Lord will give it into your hands."
Maybe he is a sellout.
He should at this point be like, yeah, sure, great. He said it, everyone, 401 prophets at this point, and including Micaiah, who is separate from the other 400 for some reason.
He's special.
Has said we're good. There should be no reason for any sort of deceit or thought that he is deceiving them. However, the king said to him, "How many times must I make you swear to tell me nothing but the truth in the name of the Lord?" Don't know why he assumes he's lying. Maybe he's just very unconvincing.
Maybe he was a really bad liar.
Maybe
he was sweating profusely.
Smells of fear and shame.
That was just because he was at a donkey show.
Donkey shows are alright. There's nothing... I'm sick of people bad-mouthing donkey shows. There's nothing like watching a burro get it on with a very, very distraught woman. Maybe I didn't see a donkey show. Maybe what I saw was worse. I don't know. She couldn't communicate very well at the time.
Maybe she was just a hostage for the cartel.
It might have been. Her family did something. I'm sure, you know what, it's a different culture. I'm sure whatever it was will work itself out in the course of time. I trust Mexico completely. Then Micaiah answered, I saw all Israel scattered on the hills like sheep without a shepherd, and the Lord said, these people have no master. Let each one go home in peace.
Wait. So, it's like, they're going to be scattered and they don't have leadership, but then at the end, the Lord says, just let them go home and be happy.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
You should definitely attack.
It's just bad for the king.
Oh, that makes sense.
The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, didn't I tell you that he never prophesies anything good about me, but only bad?
How can you be mad if you ask for him to tell you the truth, and then you're mad about the truth?
He's kind of an asshole.
He's a douche.
Micaiah continued, therefore hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne with all the multitudes of heaven standing around him in his right and on his left. And the Lord said, who will entice Ahab into attacking Ramoth-Gilead and going to his death there?
Who will entice Ahab?
So here's what happened, according to the Bible. God was sitting around saying, man, I really don't like the king of Jerusalem.
Right.
So I'm going to lie to him and tell him that he's going to be victorious, even though the Bible says the Lord never lies. Except for here, where the Lord directly tells an angel or whatever divine being to go and talk to this guy and lie to him through the prophets.
But that's not lying, Hugo. That was Satan. Satan's the devil in this trick.
But God's, even if it was Satan, which it isn't, because
God's perfect.
because Satan isn't mentioned in the Old Testament as
You're
an
going
individual.
to hell. I'll pray for you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Every family member ever of mine. Anyway.
Christmas is weird.
One suggested this and another that. Finally a spirit came forward, stood before the Lord, and said, I will entice him.
A spirit said he would entice?
Yeah.
They just hang out in a room and have to be bargained with?
Yeah, they do. And then
he's like, I'll entice Ahab. What are you going to do to entice him? I don't know. I got nipple clamps, and I'm probably going to play some Mariah Carey in the background. And but it'll be that thing she did for the Santa music, though. That's the only Mariah Carey song I have.
You had me at nipple clamps, frankly.
No?
Yeah. By what means, the Lord asked. So God is not omnipotent because this spirit has a plan that the Lord is not privy to.
He only is aware of earthly things.
I will go out and be a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all his prophets, he said. You will succeed in enticing him, said the Lord. Go and do it. So God's an asshole.
Yeah, God's actively deceiving Jehoshaphat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a douchebag.
Remember when David lied to a soldier and had him sent to the front lines to have him killed, and then God punished him because he basically murdered him via enemy army?
I don't think you understand that God is at a different set of standards than us.
But he did the exact same thing. He's sending someone into war knowing they will die and doing it intentionally.
But we get our morality from God, but his morality is different from us.
It doesn't. It seems exactly like an asshole.
God doesn't have an asshole. He runs at 100% efficiency.
Okay, God has a vestigial asshole that he uses to fuck with people. So now the Lord has put a deceiving spirit in the mouths of all the prophets of yours. The Lord has decreed disaster for you.
That's a bad thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Then Zedekiah, son of Cananana, do-do-do-do-do,
Kananana.
do-do-do-do. I don't think
Kananana.
we're not allowed to do anymore.
Kananana? Oh, we can do whatever we want.
No, I think the
Weird Al.
We're not Weird Al. When we get Weird Al money, then we can start doing that and calling it parody. Until then, Jim Henson's ghost can still sue us.
Oh.
Then Zedekiah, son of Kananana, went up and slapped Micaiah in the face.
That's amazing. This is like a telenovela.
I know. What's weird is he slapped him for telling the truth.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, I guess you can do what you gotta do, but it seems counterproductive to getting him to tell you the truth in the future. It was very emotionally charged at the time. Which way did the spirit from the Lord go when he came for me to speak to you, he asked. So wait, are they asking where the ghost went?
Yes, he's a ghost.
Are they gonna chase the ghost? Like Bill Murray?
Yeah.
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and Egon.
Not
the
Egon.
Black guy.
Not Egon. Not
He's
anymore.
dead now. Harold Ramis is dead too. Wow, a lot of dead celebrities in this episode. Michael Jackson, just throw him in there.
Michael Jackson?
Sure.
You think he's touching ghost kids?
Yes. If ghosts exist, he's definitely touching ghost kids.
Well, as long
Casper is no longer the friendly ghost. Casper, the fondled ghost. He's the fondled ghost.
Well, as long as Michael's happy. I guess that's what matters. Micaiah replied, you will find out on the day you go and to hide in the inner room.
So he's in the inner room. You gave it away. That's not a twist,
I'm bad
Micaiah.
at secrets. The king of Israel then ordered, take Micaiah and send him back to Amon, the ruler of the city, to Joash, the king's son, and say, this is what the king says, put this fellow in prison and give him nothing but bread and water until I return safely. Micaiah declared, if you ever return safely, the Lord has not spoken through me. Then he added, mark my words, all you people.
Wow, that was kind of a threat.
Yeah, but he's basically, for one thing, I don't think we hear from this guy again, so he's just locked up there forever.
Yeah, he's still there to this day.
Yeah.
So saith the Lord.
There's the proof that we need for the Bible. If someone can find a very, very, very old prophet somewhere in a cell eating the remains of bread and water, there you go. Then I'll be a Christian. Or Jewish. That'd be Jewish.
I'd probably be Jewish.
Okay, I'll be Jewish. Anyway, today we're going to finish on Ahab killed at Ramoth Gilead, because he needs to die. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. The king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, I will enter the battle in disguise, but you wear your royal robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself and went into battle. Why? Why did he do this? What is the advantage of not being seen as the king? I get that he probably doesn't want to be a target, but all of the soldiers are targets.
Well, because he had intel about this next paragraph, apparently.
Now the king of Aram had ordered 32 chariot commanders, do not fight with anyone small or great except the king of Israel.
Just let them fucking slash at you unless you see the king.
I've seen worse military strategy. When the chariot commanders saw Jehoshaphat, they thought, surely this is the king of Israel, so they turned to attack him, but when Jehoshaphat cried out, the chariot commanders saw that he was not the king of Israel and stopped pursuing him. What? When he said something, or yelled, you realized he wasn't
I'm Jehoshaphat, and they're like, we believe you!
Did they know what Ahab's voice sounded like? And they were like, that's not him.
Maybe
they had very, very distinctive voices.
They've seen the movie.
The one with Patrick Stewart?
No, the other one, with the other guy.
Oh, okay. But someone drew his bow at random and hit the king of Israel between the sections of his armor. That was impressive. Was fucking Katniss Everdeen there?
Yes.
Says, I'm gonna randomly shoot this. Or Hawkeye.
Green Arrow.
Or other various archer stereotype characters.
Legolas.
Robin Hood. The real OG.
I think I'm out. I think that's all of the archers.
The king told his chariot driver, wheel around and get me out of the fighting. I have been wounded. Wow.
I have been wounded!
I didn't realize this war was going to involve, fighting. I wouldn't have come if I thought there was a chance I was going to get hurt.
Normal guy gets shot in the side with an arrow and he goes, ah, shit! But if you're a king, you have to go, I have been wounded!
Yeah, it's official.
Yeah.
All day long the battle raged as the king was propped up in his chariot facing the Arameans.
Like a Jim Henson puppet, full circle.
The blood from his wound ran onto the floor of the chariot, and that evening he died, very unceremoniously. He just kind of bled out. Whoops.
Kind of like George Washington?
Yeah. As the sun was setting, a cry spread throughout the army. Every man to his town, every man to his land. Run away, basically, is what they're saying. Which is fine, I get it. So the king died and was brought to Samaria and buried there. They washed the chariot at the pool in Samaria, where the prostitutes bathed, because that's where you wash chariots.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess.
they have veg blood in there, and then there's a lot of chariot blood on the chariot, so dunk it in the bloody prostitute bath. And
that chariot must have stunk like fish after.
Well, yeah, we don't want anyone messing with the chariot. It's like when wolves pee on azaleas to mark their territory.
I get it. And the dogs licked up the blood. Do dogs lick up blood? That's pretty gross.
Well, that was a prophecy from earlier, so you can tell the Bible's true.
Sure. As the word of the Lord had declared. As for the other events of Ahab's reign, including all he did, the palace he built, and adorned with ivory, and the cities he fortified, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? I don't know.
Isn't this that?
Yeah, well, there's a second one, so who knows. Ahab rested with his ancestors, and Ahaziah, his son, succeeded him as king. And then there's just two stories about two other kings very briefly, but they're very boring and nothing happened in their lifetime interesting, except one got rid of all the male shrine prostitutes, but that had happened previously, so I don't know why it's happening twice.
Because they're like an infestation. They're like bed bugs.
They keep coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I see. You gotta burn the whole bed.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
You can always check us out on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can check Hugo at Hugo Reloaded.
You can donate to our Patreon. We actually just did our first ever live Patreon hangout, which is available to any patron who gives any amount of money.
Right.
So it was a good time. We answered some questions.
Ran for a little bit over an hour, I think an hour 20 or something like that.
Hour 20, yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I think it went well. We're working on probably adding video to the broadcast as time goes on because we read a creationist comic book while we did it. An edited version of that hangout will probably be up like the third week of the month, just so that you guys can kind of see what it is and to see if you think that it's worth joining in. Also because a lot of patrons missed it. Obviously, because the first one you're not used to the schedule yet, and I get that.
If you are a patron, though, and you weren't able to see it live, if you go to your Patreon feed, or ours specifically, you should still be able to see the recorded version of it.
The unedited version, because we have some information in there that we don't want to the general populace, but, a small group of people, you can know some stuff that we planned, because we got some questions that we answered about, like, future plans and stuff, and formatting stuff, and, fun stuff.
It was good, though. I enjoyed doing it.
I really enjoyed it, and I thought I actually really liked talking to all the guys and girls that were down there.
Yeah.
Or genderless, otherkin, whatever.
Ghostkin.
Whatever we got going on down there.
Yeah, sure. You can also subscribe.
Yeah.
And I think that is it. So, until next time, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this has been the Bible Reloaded.
And next week, Hugo and I rehire all the shrine prostitutes. Because we're libertarians.
We're gonna be so goddamn sore.